If you've ever read Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale, you know it's a world that gets under your skin and just stays there. It's this terrifying and frankly all too believable vision of the future. But the most chilling part, it isn't what Atwood imagined, it's what she didn't have to. Okay, let's get into it. So this book first hit shelves way back in 1985. But here's the wild thing. It never really went away. We're talking decades later. It's shooting back up the bestseller charts. It sparked a huge award-winning TV series, and its imagery, well, that's become a powerful symbol all over the world. But this is the question at the heart of it all, the one we're really gonna dig into today. What if the most terrifying pieces of this puzzle weren't made up at all? To really wrap our heads around the answer, first we have to step inside the world of the novel itself. So take a deep breath. Welcome to the Republic of Gilead. In Gilead, the control is absolute. It's a totalitarian state built on a foundation of religious extremism, right where the United States used to be. For women, all rights are gone. They're sorted, they're color-coded, and they're locked into roles. If you're one of the few who is still fertile, you become a handmaid. Your old name is erased, and your only purpose is to bear children for the ruling class. And your new name, like Alfred, it literally means you are the property of Fred. So a vision this horrifying, where does it even come from? Well, that brings us right to the author, Margaret Atwood, and a single golden rule she gave herself when she was writing this book. And here it is. This is the big reveal. Atwood herself said that she put nothing into the book that humanity hadn't already done to itself somewhere at some time. No made-up technologies, no imaginary tortures. Every single chilling detail was pulled from the real-life nightmare of history. So you see, Gilead is like this terrifying mosaic, pieced together from real-world events. Let's look at a few of the biggest pieces Atwood pulled straight from the history books and the news of her day. First up, let's tackle the most fundamental horror of Gilead, the idea that the state can take complete and total control over a woman's body and her ability to have children. For this, Atwood looked to 20th century Romania under the communist dictator Ceausescu. He was desperate to grow the population, so he just made contraception and abortion illegal. And get this, he forced women to take monthly pregnancy tests. If you weren't pregnant, you had to answer for it. But this brutal policy didn't create a super workforce. It led to thousands of children being abandoned in the most horrific, nightmarish state-run orphanages. A chilling, real-world echo of Gilead. But Atwood wasn't just digging through old history books. She was also reacting to the political winds that were swirling all around her in the 1980s. Let's look at how this all added up. So after all the progress the feminist movement made in the 70s, the 1980s saw this huge conservative backlash. A very powerful, very organized religious right started pushing back hard against the quote-unquote sexual revolution. They were calling for a return to traditional values. Atwood saw this happening and basically asked a terrifyingly simple question. What if they win? What does this look like if it's taken all the way to its most extreme conclusion? Gilead was her answer. And if you can believe it, the historical parallels get even darker, touching on one of the greatest evils of the 20th century. I mean, check this out. Gilead's obsession with producing healthy babies for the ruling class has a direct ancestor in Nazi Germany's Lebensborn program. This was literally a state-sponsored project to breed what they considered racially pure children. SS officers were matched with Aryan women, all to create a new generation indoctrinated from birth with Nazi ideology. The connection to Gilead's commanders and their desire to control the future is just undeniable. So, you're faced with this unbelievable reality, one built from the absolute worst of human history. How does a person survive that? Well, the novel gives us an answer by taking us deep into the psychology of our main character, Alfred. And to really get what she's going through, we need to talk about something called defense mechanisms. Now, it sounds like a fancy psychological term, but the idea is actually pretty simple. They're the unconscious tricks our minds use to protect us from anxiety and pain when reality just becomes too much to handle. For Alfred, her own mind is the only place left where she has any freedom, and she uses these tools all the time just to get by. First, there's denial. She'll tell herself this isn't real, it's just a bad dream she's gonna wake up from. Then she uses selective memory. She forces herself to focus on the good times, the happy moments with her husband and her daughter, using them like a shield. And finally, avoidance. She buries her real name, June, deep down inside. Because to fully remember the person you used to be, Well, that's just too painful and way too dangerous. It's this constant, silent war just to stay sane. You see, it's this combination, the rock-solid historical truth and the incredibly deep psychological reality, that makes this story feel more relevant now than ever before. I mean, this book didn't just stay in print. It exploded into a cultural force. You've seen it, right? The Handmaid's red cloak and white bonnet are now iconic symbols used in real-world protest for women's rights all around the globe. And, of course, the incredible TV show brought the chilling world of Gilead to millions of new people, proving just how timeless its warnings are. Atwood even went back to Gilead in 2019 with a sequel, The Testaments. But this time, the feeling was different. If the original book was this dark, inward-looking story about how to just survive inside your own head, the sequel is all about action. It's a fast-paced story about hope and about actively fighting back against the system. And that really just leaves us with one final, pretty haunting thought. Margaret Atwood built her dystopia by looking at the nightmare of history and the news of her time. So the question for us is pretty simple. If we look around at the headlines today, what kind of future is being written right now?